So this verse speaks about how one can realize the Brahman. That is a Brahman realization, self-realization process. So the fundamental knowledge of spirituality that all of us came in contact with when we were connected with ISKCON. We are not this body, we are soul. So that itself was a great revolutionary, statement which we never heard before. The only understanding of the soul was Atma or some Bhoot, Pishad, something like that. But our real existence is Atma, spiritual. That itself was such a revolutionary revelation to all of us. And thanks to Srila Prabhupada. And one time Srila Prabhupada was discussing with his disciples. And Prabhupada, in initial days, he was emphasizing more on this aspect of, I am not this body, I am spirit soul. So always in his lectures, if you see, this statement was emphasized by Prabhupada again and again. So initially the disciples, the followers of Prabhupada, they were thinking maybe Prabhupada is not the body, he is soul. Hum to body hai. So that was the kind of understanding they were having. So they were thinking he is something special. That's why he is speaking that he is not body, he is soul. But it is for everyone. All of us, we are spirit souls. So like a raindrop which falls on the earth, the raindrop is very pure in its nature when it falls from the sky. But as soon as the raindrop touches the land, it touches the earth, it becomes muddy, it gets contaminated. So that is how, although the soul is pure by nature, so as soon as the soul came in contact with the material nature, this material world, it became contaminated by the influence of the three modes of material nature. So that is how we have landed up in this world. And then we got these two coverings upon the soul, that is gross and subtle forms, subtle bodies. So at the time of death, our gross body is destroyed, but the subtle body remains if we are not, liberated. So again, we have to take birth in the next birth with some other body. But the subtle body is one which actually carries the soul to the next body, to the next destination. So it is not that, for a sinful person, it is not that Yamudutas, they are coming and, snatching away the soul. It is the subtle body which they actually snatch away. And because the soul is attached to the subtle body, it goes behind the subtle body. That is how the conditioned living entity actually, he becomes conditioned in this world and gets attached to these gross and subtle bodies. And Prabhupada explains wonderfully in the purport about how the soul gets entangled in this material world, and also he speaks about how we can actually come out of this entanglement, spiritual realization, Jivan Mukta. So firstly we'll discuss about this material illusion because of which we are all entangled in this material since time immemorial, and what is our condition because of that, we will try to see that. So the illusion that the superficial coverings which is there on the soul, that is the gross and subtle bodies, to think that they are the self, so that is the greatest illusion in which we are actually became conditioned in this world. And what is mentioned in the translation, what is the cause of this illusion? The cause of this illusion is ignorance of our real constitutional position. And what is that? Jivera Swarup hai Krishnera Nityadas. So because we have forgotten our real position, so and this is the ignorance, and because of which we are identifying ourselves with the gross and subtle bodies. And due to the ignorance, we have assumed our self-interest to be, and Prabhupada mentions a very wonderful statement. He says, our self-interest is calculated in terms of gross and subtle bodies. And therefore a whole set of activities, begins, and which actually spoils our life after life because of this identification. And so we became so absorbed in the activities of this material world, we forgot our real goal of Swartha Gatim He Vishnu. And we got completely diverted from our original goal of, to make Vishnu as our ultimate goal. And that is how the problem began. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. So many times we wonder what is this forgetfulness is all about, which Krishna is speaking about. So Prabhupada gives a very nice understanding of this. He says, since the living entity desired to become an enjoyer in this world and he wants to forget Krishna, so then Krishna grants him that benediction, and we forget life after life, that what is our real goal, and we just get engaged in our material activities in this world.